Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Wicked Nick of Altareth. How are you, my friend?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for being here. It's lovely to chat with you and get to talk about the brand new record, Blood, out on one of our favorite records, Magnetic Eye Records. First and foremost, just because I do this with every interview, I just, hopefully you, the band, your family, your friends, everybody's okay. Because
Mhm.
regardless of whether the events of the last year and a half have affected you personally or not, they've affected the whole industry. So I hope you
Mm.
guys are okay. It's been hard to make a living as a musician.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We're okay. My, Myself and the family and the band, we're all okay. But obviously there has been some delays, the record plans and all this. So I know it's a tragedy in many ways. But personally, I'm okay. Hopefully you are as well.
Yeah, we're hanging in there all around the world. Everybody here, we've had some losses, of course, like everybody, and we're just continuing to do our part to support. I will say, at least here in America, we've had a few things, pop up that have supported the industry. Just out of curiosity, because I'm not as plugged into Sweden, how is Sweden, or even locally, like the live music scene in Gothenburg is legendary, and people go out every night of the week to hear music. How's it been out there? With sort of, is it coming back? How's it been?
It's definitely coming back, and I think that they have been waiting for so long. They're eager to go out there and support their bands and see each other. So we're just recently opening it up society, and all the clubs, and I have been recently at a couple of concerts, and really good crowds, a really good atmosphere. So it's getting back in a strong sense.
Awesome. I did see, some festivals sort of popped up. We have a big European staff, so I know the UK has had some festivals, and here and there the rest of Europe. And I think by the spring, summer, for the typical festival season, we're going to get back
Mm.
our big stuff's not always, obviously that's, not always applicable, but like I feel like it, does trickle down. If Sweden Rock happens, then local tours can happen. If local tours can happen, local shows can happen. So
Mm.
I just feel like it must be some kind of relationship. The same thing here. We're starting to
Mm.
see a big booking for next year. Hope we're keeping it hopeful.
Yeah, definitely.
Right on. And then for Blood, which is the awesome new album once again.
Mhm.
Did you have that record mostly written?
Well, it's basically two record sessions, really, recording sessions, and a couple of the songs were basically written and recorded a couple of years back, like 2 or 3 years. But then we recorded another four newer songs. Then we put the album together, and the four new songs were basically written, I think, during the pandemic, I would say. So in that sense, it gave us a lot of time to just focus on the record and the recording. So it was, in that sense, it didn't affect us in a negative way, I would say.
Nice. How did you guys get together to write songs? Were you able to get together in person and jam together? Do you guys come in with your own songs? How do you guys operate as a team?
We usually uh, uh, do we come up with riffs individually, and then we get together in the rehearsal place and put them sort of together. But basically, we do not usually sort of jam a lot, because the band just we don't work that way.
No, that's fine. Everybody's different, and I
Yeah.
always like to find out how things are made. And then just in terms of the arc of the band, I think you guys have been together a while. This is your second full length. Did you? And I love the first record also. I was gonna say, there's definitely growth here. Like you guys have tried to, expand the sound on the second record. But was that something that just happened naturally because you guys are getting good at making music together, or is it more of a case of just just happens to be this set of songs, or just more improved,
Yeah.
better?
I would say that it's the first full length, but we recorded the EP This Could Be Occult before, and this is sort of a continuation. The ground or the ground for the sound was basically set, I would say, or where we started to find this is what we want to sound like, and this is what we want to do and expand on with it. This could be occult EP, and then we started to working towards the blood, the full album. And definitely we tried a couple of new things, put in a lot of work into finding good, strong chorus stuff, because we like the way the traditional, old school songwriting, the way it works. We get this strong stuff and the way that you could hopefully, stick into people's minds or the memory. So definitely expansion in that sense, melody and harmonies, and trying out some horns and other, the weirdest stuff that we like.
Yeah, we like the weird stuff too. I think it's just part and parcel of these times that like the line between EPs and albums is blurring, because I've seen some EPs that are like an hour long, and I've seen some albums that are 30 minutes. And so the EP is a little shorter than the new record that's a full length. So yeah, I think interpretively, I think a longer EP feels like an album to me, or something fully formed. Sometimes an EP used to be like, this is leftover, this is new, here's a bunch of covers, here's some live songs. And now EPs are their own thing. Like it can be an in-between release, it can be its own thing. I think we're seeing a lot of bands sort of go there like, hey, this is an opportunity, it's not just a stepping stone.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously we are playing long songs, so there's not this sharp,
It ain't pop punk, everybody. Doom metal and this sort of genre it's a patient person's music, I feel like, especially if you like it, heavy and slow and trippy, like I do, and I know you do. So yeah, it's not for everybody.
No. But of course, it's also that the genre, maybe it's growing, so people get more just, the sounds is getting more common, and maybe people will, maybe it will grow on other people that's not used to the sound.
Right. I think it is a growing genre still. I feel like people are catching up to this genre that is 50 years old somehow.
Yeah.
Or if you want to say in the modern sense, I'm a mega fan of Sleep. And so that's the band that I like. Okay, there are a lot of bands that are kind of doomy or stoner doom or psychedelic rock throughout history, but like Sleep is the band that was like the moment for me when everything started to go that direction, at least with a lot of bands, probably you too. And I do feel like people are catching up to the genre, and there's a lot of people doing very creative, cool stuff with it. And Europe has always had, especially, Sweden has always had these incredible bands that have done this.
Sweden is quite, it's not only but doom or similar genres. I think the Sweden, the rock bands from Sweden, like Helicopters or similar, they're good at picking up, things just starting to grow, and then add sort of their own stuff or their own influences, and they try to make it into something not new, but they build on these, growing genres like the death metal and the black metal. Is all, Sweden is quite good at that, I think.
Indeed, we have a legacy of great bands and greatness. How, just out of curiosity, is the first time we've ever chatted, how did the band get their start?
I think for me, Altareth is different from, if I think about my own musical background, where I started out with playing with friends, guys that I grew up with and so forth. This one was different because I started to look for people that was basically into this, started out with Electric Wizard or Black Sabbath stuff. And then I sort of, going into these sites or groups where you could find the people interested in playing similar music. So we were not friends before, so it's new in that sense. But back in 2013, we started to find each other and people that, you know, with the right sort of mindset and instruments that we needed for the band. So we had a couple of member shifts in the beginning, but then in 2015 or something like that, the band started, you know, this is the guys that we would like to stick together. And from that on, we just evolved, I would say. And we're very satisfied with this with the lineup, I think. But obviously we are quite different. As I said, we didn't grow up together, so we have different musical backgrounds, and we try to use it to our advantage. You know, just add influences that might not be that orthodox to the genre, but might add some positive, you know, fragrances to the sound or something like that.
Nice. What are some of your influences and the ones that maybe we wouldn't expect?
I mean, obviously we love the new stuff, or the newer, as I say, it's not that new anymore, but you know, Electric Wizard or Sleep or Windham, Pallbearer, and all these bands there. I mean, we love them, of course. And then we have our Swedish friends in Domkraft, label mates, and these bands. But we're all not. I mean, we're big fans of Neil Young, for example, and maybe Bruce Springsteen or Guns N' Roses or, you know, Kansas. We're quite an Opeth and a lot of death and black metal bands. So we're all over the place, and we try to figure ways out to include, you know, the diversity of our influences, I think.
Nice. Yeah, I think you can hear a little bit of all that, and but especially the Doom stuff. It's been a very good year for releases, and both on your label and outside of your label. I think there's a new Chemist record today. If you're a fan of those guys, I'm a huge fan, and so I'm very excited about that. Yeah, Magnetic Eye, man, is one of anybody who watches this channel, who's read our website, knows we love Magnetic Eye. We've covered them all over the world. How did you guys get hooked up with them? Mike is one of the best people in the business.
Yeah. We were so happy that they sort of started to pay attention to us. I would say that in the beginning we sort of started to pay attention through our friends in Domkraft, I think, because they were already on this amazing label. So Anders who is the drummer in Domkraft, is a really old friend of mine. So he suggested we should, you know, contact this label and see if they would be interested, and that's how it started. And then Jad he was interested, and we started to, you know, email and exchange ideas, and they talking about this. Maybe there's a possibility of making a record and so on. So that's definitely the background, I would say. It's an honor, really. I mean, it's a good label, and it's quite famous in the sense that you're talking about. It's a lot of good records, and they are good looking, good sounding, and all that. So
Oh yeah, indeed. And you guys also care about the visual element with your awesome artwork and album covers and posters and stuff. So that's I can't say enough about Magnetic Eye. Shout out to Jad, who's another pal of ours that works with the label, and he is amazing. And yeah, man, what's on the horizon for you guys in terms of playing out? We'd love to get you over here to the States, but you know, if we have to, we'll catch you over there.
Obviously, we would love to go over there and play. We're just starting out with some small concerts over here in Sweden, and we will try to set something up in the not too far, in the future. So hopefully, maybe with another band from the label, that would be really nice. I think been talking about it. Nothing is decided, but hopefully we'll figure something out, and we would love, obviously, to go abroad and play live. That would be something that we would look forward to, obviously. But we have some concerts here in Sweden that we are preparing for right now.
Nice. We need like a Desert Fest Sweden. I feel like it's overdue, and I'm gonna whisper into the ear of my friends at Desert Fest and see what
Yeah,
they
yeah,
think
yeah.
because it's they got Berlin and they have New York coming back next spring, which I'm really excited about here in America. So yeah, man, we'd love to get that happening. And but obviously, you always hear about the Sweden has Sweden Rock, which is usually
Mm,
everything in the pot, all kinds of bands, and then
mm.
some very specific like death metal, doom metal things. But yeah, man, Sweden is. I'm always wondering if people are very territorial about how whose country is the best for metal. Sweden, specifically, the big cities in Sweden have a claim. There's no question. It's
Mm.
undeniable, especially with the legacy of some of these bands across the genres. So it's always fun. My Finnish friends always think it's Helsinki. My German friends think it's Berlin. It's hysterical, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Good
Yeah,
times.
definitely.
Good
You,
times. Everybody's waving the flag.
yeah, yeah. Being in a band, being a metal band or heavy rock band in Gothenburg, it's definitely, Gothenburg is so very much, the identity of the Gothenburg death metal sound. So that's the first thing that would come to mind, I guess.
Yeah, of
Um,
course. Yeah, the classic, the Gothenburg sound that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
everybody knows, and it's never going away. But yeah, man, it's fantastic to catch up with you about this stuff. I just have a few more questions for you because this has been so easy and so fun. I really appreciate the time. As I said, we're getting to the end of the year, so I always like to ask bands what 2021 records they've been listening to as we start to think about the year ending and the new year beginning.
Personally, I'm a really big fan of Norwegian black metal. So just the new Hordum Rife album, I would definitely advise people to pay some attention. I mean, the Norwegian scene, they are just coming back in big style. So that would be my sort of recommendation in that sense. Otherwise, I don't know. There's so many new records coming out, and I'm not. It's hard to keep up with it, with with the pace of the releases. I don't know really. Otherwise, would I? That would be the first that comes to mind. I'm sorry, I'm not.
No,
You know.
one recommendation is plenty. I feel like the bigger international bands get a lot of love, and then we don't hear a lot about death metal and Norwegian black metal and obtuse avant-garde road burn bands, so which we cover a lot. But of course, I love to hear about these things. It's all good. One is plenty. What are your sort of go-to records that you always fall back to listen to all the time? That are just whatever genre.
Definitely, the six first Black Sabbath albums, they are always there, I think. A couple of the older ones from Neil Young, Nick Cave, Tom Waits. But obviously, we are big AC/DC, Iron Maiden fans, Slayer. And then okay, we get the old stuff with the heavy metal stuff, the Slayer and the Speed, but then if you were talking about stoner or doom, I think maybe Sleep, definitely. Some of the stuff from Uncle Acid, maybe the two first albums, Electric Wizard, definitely. I love that band, and obviously, Windhand is an influence. Paul Bearers, the two first, maybe the third one. You know, we're yeah.
Nice. I think we're getting a new Windhand record next year. It hasn't been announced, but I have a feeling where it's time. Sometimes you just feel like I think this is the year we're going to get some of these records. This is usually the time when we start to hear about the new records coming out for next year. Yeah, man. Just again, wonderful to catch up with you. I can't recommend Blood enough to people. Altareth on Magnetic Eye Records, one of our favorite labels. Congratulations on this album and a continued success. And I hope you guys can get out there and do some touring and spread the word, man.
Yeah, and a big thanks to you for having us. It's a pleasure, and hopefully we'll see each other again.
Yes, and next time in person with some beers.
Yeah, definitely.